Well, hello everyone. This is Deidre Kindred, your nurse advocate on Health Chats Among Friends. And today I have my special friend Michelle Appling here. She's a realtor and she's going to give us a bunch of information about who she is, what she does, and the community she serves. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Deidre, thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. It is my pleasure. I love helping educate, and I learn every time I do a chat, I learn something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So, Michelle, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Michelle Appleton?
Okay. Well, so Deirdre, you and I've known each other a long time. As you know, I started in senior housing back in '07, and I spent about 9 years there. And when I decided to make a career change into real estate, it was because I could help families find great senior housing all day long, but I didn't really have a turnkey realtor that knew how to work with seniors that I could refer to. So I've put together an entire concierge program for our seniors where I can help them find their community. I can help them with an estate sale. I have a list of vetted vendors that I know and trust that I've used many times. Help them with their estate sale, getting moved. I have some great movers, and then getting the house cleaned out and just ready to go on the market. Because I found a lot of times with my seniors, it's so much more than just, okay, I'm ready, come take professional pictures of my house and let's get on the market.
Right.
It's a lot of just emotional going through my stuff, a lot of overwhelm. So many of my clients are widows or widowers, and so getting rid of the house is sometimes feels like getting rid of your spouse or a piece of your spouse and those memories. So I work diligently with them to go at their pace, but also sometimes being, as you know, pleasantly persistent, as we like to call it, because they need to be in a safe place. They need to be somewhere where they're having meals and socialization, et cetera, et cetera. The other thing that I've really found in my career is that a lot of times seniors will wait too long to move or longer than they need to. So many times their home is their largest asset. And if they haven't been able to make updates or do maintenance, a lot of times their home isn't worth as much as they were hoping for, that they were needing to help pay for their care.
So glad you mentioned that. That's a good topic.
So, but the beautiful thing about it right now is seniors that are moving to independent living or 55 plus apartments or assisted living even, this is a great market to sell in. They don't need to do a lot of updates in order to get top dollar for their home, because of the fact that our market is definitely a seller's market. Our inventory is really tight. DFW is a hot area. And people are willing to pay a premium even if they need to paint or do some new flooring. So I really cannot stress enough that if you're on the fence about moving, or you're on the fence about a parent, or you just know, hey, it's time, they need to go, this is a great time to sell your home because of the fact that inventory is low. It's a seller's market and interest rates are at a historic low. And what that means for our sellers is the less you pay for your money, the more house you can buy. So the cheaper your money, the bigger the pool. So right now, the buyer pool is bigger. People can afford more house. So maybe a year and a half ago, someone that could afford $450 can now afford $500 because of the low interest rates. The other thing I always like to say to my clients is, what's going to change between today and a year from today that's going to either give you more money or more physical ability to do the maintenance and the updates on your home? And if that answer is no, then it's probably time to think about a move.
Yeah, that's a huge step. So I love all the components that you talked about. You talked about the psychological aspect of it. You talked about, people have been in their homes for years, and that psychological aspect is humongous.
Absolutely.
Part of it. And then having that patience and persistence but patiently persistent.
Yes.
To be able to, sometimes just to listen, just lend that ear sometimes, because the sale may not happen when you plan it, but
Absolutely.
right,
Absolutely.
right. So let me ask you this. So you've mentioned that you have other resource providers, trusted resource providers, and I'm gonna stick a pin in that one because I get so upset when people say digital, 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 digital. And in the healthcare arena and world is who you know
Absolutely. Yes, I
and
agree.
who you can trust, who you
Hmm.
like, who you've been around, who you've seen how they treat people. So 9.5 times out of 10,
Hmm.
we all know each other. And so we all
Yes.
know that if I refer my client to you or someone else, you're going to get that phone call back.
Right. Right. Well, and for me, honestly, it's about competency. And are they just going to treat my seniors right?
Absolutely.
Sometimes, in the middle of a negotiation, say the buyers have done their inspection and they're saying, oh, well, they need a whole new air conditioner or they need this. I want to bring my air conditioning guy out to look at it to say, hey, we could do these things just to maintain it, or a roof or a
Yeah.
foundation. I
Yeah.
have structural engineers that I work with, foundation companies that I work
Yeah.
with, HVAC. I have an amazing handyman that can go in
That's
and do a full
awesome.
remodel or just fix the leaky toilet and replace a few light fixtures.
That's what I'm talking about. So we took the pen out of that one. So that's where I was going to
Sorry, I got
also,
ahead.
no, 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 no. That's what exactly, it turned out exactly how we wanted. So with that being said, it's so overwhelming because that's a humongous step or short life transition, let's say it like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And to be able to have a resource such as yours that says, okay, you know what, I got you. I vetted this company already. They can reach out to you. They're going to reach out to you. They're going to take good care of you. Right. So
Right.
that person doesn't have to like, oh my goodness, where am I going to find a painter or where am I going to find,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, I
Well, and
love it.
sometimes it's just about, do you really have to paint? Maybe somebody's told you, oh, you need to do all these updates. You need to do this or that. Here's a great example. I had a lovely client and she moved to California to be closer to her daughter. And she still had Formica countertops in her kitchen, but they were pristine. There was nothing wrong with them. And I said, we don't need to change those to granite because if you spend the money to put in granite, maybe your buyer wants quartz. And guess what? Now that granite is worth $0 to that buyer.
Right.
So we just price the house appropriately based on the amenities and the upgrades that we have,
Right.
and let the buyer deal with that. Because so many times, especially our seniors, they don't want to deal with a remodel. Now, the caveat to that is if they absolutely have to do some things, I always help project manage that for them. I don't leave them on their own to do that. And then I think the big thing that I run into is needing an estate sale. People are stuck on their stuff.
Yeah.
Aren't we attached to our things?
We are. It could be, something as simple as a pen, but it has a sentimental value. So
exactly. Exactly. So I try to come up with creative ways to help them with that because here's the absolute truth of the matter from going through hundreds of homes and talking to several estate sale companies and looking at so many different people's things and stuff is their money's not in their stuff. Their stuff is not worth a lot of money. Their money's in their house. So please, please, please don't get stuck on, oh, I got to have an estate sale, or I got to do this, or I have to go through every single box and every single drawer. You really don't have to. The thing of it is we have a whole lot of supply of all those tchotchkes and antiques and the dark wood furniture and china and silver and things that our younger people aren't buying, they don't use. So we have a whole lot of supply and very little demand. And that's a basic economic principle. When supply is up and demand is down, prices go way down. And so I like to tell my clients, especially those that are super sentimental, or just they think there's a lot of value there, right? When you're on a fixed income, and I don't care if you've only got $10,000 in the bank or you've got 10 million. When you don't have time to go out and make more, you're so worried about outliving your money. I'm sure you see that all the time with families you help. What if I run out of money? But the bottom line is with their things, those are all depreciable assets. They are depreciating assets, except maybe some jewelry or, a few things that that would be, an outlier. The money's in the house. The house is what is appreciated. And so I try to really encourage my clients to give yourself permission to get rid of these things. You've paid for them, you've enjoyed them, you've used them, they've served their purpose. Now, whatever you get out of them monetarily is just a bonus. Hey, at least you didn't have to pay somebody to haul it off, because guess what? If you don't sell it, you got to pay somebody the privilege of hauling off your stuff. And I do have some great junk removal services as well, because I do run into hoarders from time to time.
Oh boy.
So, I've referred financial advisors, I've referred attorneys because they haven't probated the will, or we're going to do an affidavit of heirship. And those are, conversations to have with an attorney, because I've just exhausted all my knowledge right there. There you go. Because I'm not an attorney, but I do know.
Me neither.
I've dealt with seniors enough that I know when to call an attorney.
Right.
When someone says to me, well, we're thinking about putting mom on Medicaid, that's a hard stop for me, because if I sell your house and dump all your money into your checking account, I've just made you ineligible for that look back. So we always pump the brakes on that. I bring in a Medicaid planning attorney and we discuss the different options, cost of care, and what we really need to do. Maybe we could do VA aid and attendance, and with the sale of the house, get them into the care that they would prefer rather than, a Medicaid nursing home. So there's always different solutions. There's a solution for everybody's problem. Sometimes it just depends on how much money you want to spend or can spend. And so we always have to be cognizant of their budget. But one thing I always do after I've looked at the house and run the comps, I will run my clients a net sheet, which means this is what you're going to walk away with after you pay off your mortgage, if you have one, after you pay your commissions and your closing costs, and you've taxes, whatever. This is what's going in your checking account. And I find that most of my clients, especially in this market environment, are always pleasantly surprised at what their home will sell for and what they will walk away with.
Yeah. Well, that's good to be pleasantly surprised.
Right.
So I know that you had mentioned before that you used to work for a placement agency. So do you do that as well with your clients, or do you refer?
It depends on what they need. So many times I am actually being referred from the community.
Okay.
So I'll go in, and sometimes the conversation goes like this. Well, I have these 25 brochures from these 25 communities that I've looked at. Why should I go here to ABC community when XYZ is so much cheaper? And the problem is they're looking at the cheaper option is independent, when they were referred by a type B assisted. Right. And I'm able to kind of walk them through that and say, hey, well, dad has Parkinson's and he needs help with these certain activities of daily living. So I really think that this is why you need to consider this one. And to be honest, on the flip side, I've walked into independent referrals, and I'll go back to that independent living community and say, hey, what did they tell you about mom's dementia?
Yeah.
Not trying to tell you how to do your job, but you might want to go meet with them, because obviously none of our partner communities want a revolving door, and they want to make sure that their residents are appropriate for everybody's well-being. But yes, the long and short of it is I can make referrals, and when I come across clients or referrals that are still looking, I absolutely love to refer them to my partner communities. I always want to give back to those people that are doing business with me when everything aligns and it's the community is appropriate for them clinically as well as financially.
Wonderful. I love it. Close to one-stop shopping right there.
I try to be. I really try to be, because it's very overwhelming. So many times I might be working with the adult child that's out of state.
Right.
they are just, wow, like a deer in the headlights when they get
Yeah.
that call from the rehab. Mom can't go home, but we're discharging her from therapy. Her last day
Right.
will be this Sunday.
Right.
Good
They
luck.
give you 3
Good
whole
luck.
days. Yeah.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
it's yeah, and they give you a list
Yeah,
of facilities.
yes,
I
an
know.
extensive list. So
Yes. And you're like, yes, so
where do I
absolutely.
start? Yeah,
Yes. So you also are you have your SRES. So let's
I
talk
do.
about
I
that a
have my
little
senior
bit.
real estate specialist, which is a
Mm-hmm.
designation that just says I've taken a class. I'll be honest with you, dear Deidre, I'm a little hesitant about those. Sometimes they're just some letters behind your name. It depends on what you do with them, like
Okay.
any industry, right?
Right. Right.
I learned some great information about reverse mortgages and some other things, but
Oh,
I think what we're really missing in this industry is how to work with seniors. I've found a lot of agents that want to work with seniors because they think they're low-hanging fruit, and they're not.
mhm.
I mean,
No,
I've
no.
followed clients for 2 years before they
Yeah.
finally decided, hey, I'm ready to pull the trigger and make a move.
Yes, and it is so much relationship building. I mean,
Yes,
I love relationship building, and I think that is key to success with any business, but especially in our arena of healthcare.
agreed,
It's not
agreed.
just
Yes,
one and done, see you later,
right,
thanks for the sale. It is, to me, it's
right. You
about,
cannot be transactional
right,
when, yeah, in this business, you absolutely cannot. And I'm just still, even after 6 years in real estate and almost 10 years in healthcare between the placement service and hospice before that, uh, surprised at, what I'll come across and what people don't know.
yeah,
1 in 4 homes being sold right now is someone over the age of 65. You don't want
right.
just any agent. You really
No,
don't.
you
You
do
need
not.
someone that has the resources and honestly has the just the experience. And I would say here at the end, as we wrap up, when you're interviewing a real estate agent, just across the board, you need to ask them, how many transactions do you do every year?
Right,
And how long have you been in business? Do you
right,
do more listings or do you work with more buyers? Because that is a
right.
completely different skill set. And 2 out of 3 people will hire the first person that knocks on their door or mails
Yeah,
them a card.
yeah,
This is one of your largest assets, if not your largest.
right.
You are going to sign a contract for a minimum of 6 months for thousands of dollars of commission. You need to interview more than one agent.
Mhm.
And most people, they like to hire friends or people they know, and sometimes that works out. But I will always caution people, please don't hire someone you can't fire. Sometimes business needs to be business and personal needs to be personal,
Right. I
because
love
this
that.
can be selling a home ranks at the very top of stressful situations because
Oh,
it's
yes,
a lot of money.
ma'am.
It's a lot of money.
Mhm. It's
So
very stressful. I mean, you don't want to be taken advantage of. That's what I would
no,
say. So,
no,
especially with people over 65, so they have to be very diligent. Well, now that I'm talking to you, we may have to have you back and hone in on tips when you're looking for a realtor for your loved one that's over the age of 65
absolutely.
or something like that.
Absolutely.
I think that would be
Yes,
a great talk because it's a lot of tips that I know you can share and things to look for.
absolutely. I'm always happy to do that.
Yes, yes. Well, Michelle, if someone wanted to find out, because you do so much that we did not get to touch base on,
Right.
you run networking events and you have different things, educational things for seniors. So you have so much value.
Well,
And we
thank
did
you.
not get to talk about a lot of the things that you do. So that's why we have to have you back. But if someone wanted to find out more about who is Michelle Appling and more about the services that you provide, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm still a fan of the telephone. I like to talk to people, and I think people like to do that. You can always call me at 817-247-8573. That's my cell phone. And my email is michelle.a@c21bowman.com. And if you want to put that up on the page or whatever. But yes, most of the time when people start interviewing, they want to talk to you. So my phone number is 817-247-8573.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Michelle. It's been wonderful chatting with you. And I look forward to
Thank
getting you
you.
scheduled again so we can talk
Absolutely.
about some tips when you're looking for a realtor for your senior loved one.
Absolutely. It's always great to be with you, Deidre. Thanks so much for the invitation.
Oh, no problem. And thank you everyone for tuning in to Health Chats Among Friends. My name is Deidre Kindred. I'm a nurse advocate, educator, and navigator. And I love bringing you reputable resources from our local communities. Tune in next time for another amazing chat. Thank you again, Michelle.
Thank you.